Hello, I'm Dr. Mickey Barber. I'm the CEO of Cenegenics Carolinas, and we are an age management medical practice, and we focus on helping you to stay fit and healthy and energetic as you move through the aging process. And I'm very honored today to have two guests with me. I have Clint Robertson and his lovely wife, Sandy, and I wanted to thank both of you for coming today.
Absolutely.
And just wanted to start with Clint, and we'll get to your lovely wife in a minute here, Clint. I mean, you're really my celebrity guest for today. Clint was the runner-up on last season's Apprentice.
Yes.
And we don't know why you were runner-up, but we're glad you're here. And can you tell us a little bit? I mean, it's kind of surprising. You're a young guy. You look great. I mean, how did you end up being a Cenegenics patient?
I got to tell you, I look great now, doctor, but it wasn't always that way. And the folks who've seen me on TV will vouch for me. I guess as guys, you hear about that frog boiling, and if you turn up the heat slow enough, that frog will just stay in the pot and boil. I was that frog. I was gaining weight. I'd look in the mirror, and you saw it incrementally. And you just never really it never really hits you that, gosh, I'm way out of shape. Until I saw myself on TV. The first episode came on. Actually, the first advertisement started coming on for the show where my head came on the screen, and I said, "That's not me. I can't believe that that's what I look like now." It shocked me into the reality that I had to do something. My father died young, and what I saw on TV was my father staring back at me, and I didn't want to be that guy.
Scary, huh?
It was.
Yeah, pretty scary. Now, let's talk about your lovely wife here, Sandy, for a second, because you just had a great birthday, right?
Yes,
you just turned
40.
40, right? And you look great, and I'm guessing that you've always looked that way. So tell me how you became a Cenegenics patient.
Well, I was just tired all the time. I was gaining weight, low libido, and I just wanted to fix it. And Cenegenics has done that.
Great. Well, let's talk about that libido, because it's something that good old Southern girls don't talk about that much. So had you talked to other doctors about it?
No, I thought, I mean, I didn't know that anything could be done about it. And I thought testosterone was just a man thing. And I learned differently and immediately saw changes and results. And
how you felt?
Yeah, and how I felt, yeah.
And like most women, we get concerned about how we looked. I mean, do you feel like you look any different since being on the program?
Oh yes, I have lost weight. My body fat percentage has gone down. I'm more toned and not scared to get in a bathing suit now.
She looks great in a bathing suit, by the way. I took her to Mexico for her 40th birthday, and she looked awesome.
And there you have it. There you have it. Now, so Clint, when you're describing yourself on The Apprentice, I guess it was a bigger you, huh?
Yeah, me in all of my big glory. It was shocking. And my head, my face, I was just a blob. But the thing is, what I realized after I've this new lesser me, which by the way just feels wonderful. I started looking around and I started seeing guys my age. I wasn't an anomaly.
Right.
I mean, I'm big, and so I just looked even bigger. But it's not an anomaly. Guys are walking around like zombies. I could sleep 10 hours before and wake up exhausted. I had no mental clarity. My mind just didn't function like it did when I was younger. My body was just not doing what it used to do. And I knew something had to change. So I found Cenegenics, and it has literally, I mean, look at me now. Look at me compared to what I was and the folks who saw me on the show can vouch for me. I'm a different guy, and I couldn't feel better.
Maybe you could have won if you'd been a Cenegenics patient before.
You know what? Maybe so.
We should have changed it.
That's right. That's right.
Won,
she's the home team.
That's right. That's right. Well, let's talk about Cenegenics as a medical institute, because a lot of our advertising, and you've probably seen the ad with 72-year-old bald doctor with his shirt off, and he looks
great. Dr.
awesome,
Life,
right? But so, Sandy, did you think it was for older guys? I mean, is that what you thought?
Yes, I did, and that's just a huge misconception, because it's for now, it's for 30-something, it's not for 50-year-olds. It's
well, it's for everyone. But I would suggest people come in when they're in their 30s, because I know my problem started when I was in my 30s. I didn't know what was happening. I saw the changes. I knew that I wasn't as sharp. I knew that I was behind a step. I just thought I'd attribute it to aging. But I would suggest to people, my friends who are in their 30s, it's for everyone from 30 on.
You know, most of our patients that come in the door, particularly those over the age of 40, are taking 1 or 2 or 3 medications, something for their blood pressure, something for their cholesterol, maybe something to control their blood sugar, all different kinds of medication. And, you know, I mean, did you feel like you were maybe going to go down that path? I mean, were you worried about that?
My blood pressure was 160 over 110 at one reading. And hearing the horror stories of what blood pressure medication can do to you, I knew I would have to find another way. I'm not going to be that. My father was on high blood pressure medication. My grandfather was on high blood pressure medication. My father had adult onset diabetes and eventually died from complications from the drugs. So I knew I couldn't be another statistic. I've got 3 boys. I've got this beautiful wife. I can't leave them without a father and without a husband. And so I knew I was going to do something, but I was going to do the right thing. I have a, believe it or not, Doc, I have a full pre-med curriculum under my belt. I was going to medical school before I switched over to be an attorney and a CPA. And so I understand the science. I know what it all means, and so I researched it, and it sounded right. Cenegenics sounded like the truth. And I think that my results speak for themselves.
Let's talk a little bit about the program so that people listening understand a little better. So I describe it as a comprehensive preventative program that focuses on exercise, nutrition, lifestyle, and hormonal balance. Now, did anything change about what you were eating or the way you were working out, Sandy, after you started the program?
Well, yes. I mean, Cenegenics just opened my eyes to, you know, how terrible I was eating. And, you know, and I thought I was eating pretty good.
Did you?
Yeah, but I really wasn't. And it's changed. It's changed everything, even how I work out and supplements that I take. And, you know, I really wasn't sick when I got on the program. I wasn't on medication or anything, but Cenegenics is going to prevent me from getting on medication and being sick and, you know, what most everybody experiences, I think I'm not going to experience now because of Cenegenics.
So is it like when you go to some doctor's offices now, and I hope my colleagues won't get upset with me, but first of all, where you might wait in the waiting room for half an hour?
There were no white waiting rooms with chairs with 100 other people sitting there.
All right, so that's one difference. And so then you had your appointment, and how long did you see your doctor on that first appointment?
It was an all-day deal, but they treat you like kings and queens when you go in, and they are just focused on you.
We were their only focus, sat in the whole day, and everyone, and it didn't just end the day that we left. I have a whole team of people. It feels like I've got a support team following me around. I get calls from the trainer. I get calls from the nutritionist. The doctor calls me, discussing different way. Am I doing this? Have you thought about this? Specifically, spending time on the phone with me and in person about my lab results. It's a very warm and friendly family type setting, and the care. That's what I get. That your staff really cares.
You know, one of the things I think is a problem with the society in general these days is that a lot of people don't feel like they can do anything to change their health. You know, that they're stuck. They have bad genes. I mean, I have not the best genes. It sounds like, Clint, you too. And I don't know. I mean, I feel like giving that power to the patient is helpful. What do you think, Sandy?
I feel empowered. I mean, I feel I'm not scared of the aging process now. I know what to do now.
That's a big thing, having the right tools and the help behind you there. Now, so Clint, you and I had talked earlier about a friend of yours who's already gone down that path of disease. And that's really what we're talking about here is, you know, our medical system's kind of disease-oriented. So here you've got a friend. He's, you know, doing well in his life. He's got everything money can buy, and he's also buying 5 or 6 prescriptions a month, I guess.
Oh, he takes 19 pills a day, doctor. And he's had 2 heart attacks. And you mentioned about we got bad genes. I really don't, I don't know if that's true. I think that everybody has preconditions, things that are not as strong as others, but I think it's more of this lifestyle we live, not understanding. Not when people hear the word diet, like my friend, he'd hear the word diet, he would think, oh, I've got to go eat some cardboard, a bunch of cardboard. And that's, it's such a misconception. What the world tells you you ought to be dieting on, and what you have proven, what I can prove that I should be dieting on, are two completely separate things. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And so that's a misconception that I've helped my friend overcome. And you know what? I don't want to see my friend die. I don't want to see him stay on these 19 pills, because ultimately what you're saying is when you're in your late 50s and you're taking 19 pills, that just means you're probably going to be taking 30 pills 5 years from now. Yeah. And you might be dead 10 years from now. Mm-hmm. I don't want to see that mm-hmm. happen to him.
So you got him to
I did.
See
Absolutely.
A Cenegenics physician
Absolutely.
too? Good for you. Mm-hmm. I like to think about it as you have genetic potential, but it's not genetic certainty. Mm-hmm. And that, it's what you expose your genes to
That's
really
right.
in your life.
That's a good way to put it.
That are going to determine what happens to you. Well, let's talk about numbers a little bit, because that always gets people excited. Yeah. And you mentioned to me earlier your body fat. Tell me about that.
Yeah, the body fat percentage just went way down. I went down, I guess, 8 percentage points. And toned up,
Sandy's
firm.
body melted like a stick of butter.
Yeah, I
it
mean,
was
to
unbelievable.
have, lines on my stomach. I've never had that.
Yeah.
Even when I was young. So,
yeah,
I mean, I'm better now than when I was young.
Love that, love that. That's how I got interested in this partly. I had a health issue when I was in my early 40s, and when I would talk to other health practitioners, they would say, well, you're 40, it's all downhill now. Well, yeah. I had my kids at 39 and 40. I thought, my gosh, I can't afford for that to happen. And here you are saying that you look better than you did in your 20s.
Yeah.
That's pretty exciting stuff.
Believe it or not, she's got a 14-year-old, a 12-year-old, and a 10-year-old.
Yeah, she looks awesome. Yeah. Awesome. And you do too for having those kids too.
Absolutely. Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
His numbers.
First, I want to talk about your cholesterol first. Tell me a little bit about that, because every American is
scared
either
to
on
death
medication.
Cholesterol.
Right. Mm-hmm.
My friend was is taking cholesterol medication right now. My cholesterol was high. My triglycerides were out the roof. My insulin levels were shot. It's a wonder I was even getting up in the morning. And in a matter of about 6 weeks' time from starting the program, my numbers just completely, dramatically switched. I was pre-diabetic. I am so far from diabetes. My cholesterol is so low, my good cholesterol is up, and my triglycerides are non-existent. They're in a healthy range. I'm telling you, I can't believe the change just on paper. But frankly, I do believe it, because as much as that paper shows me the change, my body, my mind, my physical tells me even more. I am a different person. And my waist, do you realize that in 6 weeks' time, and I think you got some before and after pictures, mm-hmm. but my waist went down 3.5 inches in 6 weeks.
Wow.
My total body fat went down by 25% in 6 weeks. And I would tell anyone I know about this, because I really honestly believe I found the fountain of youth.
Sandy, now, your husband, he's a real go-getter. He wouldn't have gotten on The Apprentice if he wasn't really a go-getter, right?
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, for the rest of us normal people out there, is this program something that's easy to do or hard? It sounds like a lot.
No, it's so easy. After that one initial, all-day consultation, they tell you what to do. And it's just easy. Once you know, anybody can. If I can do it, anybody can do it.
I was asking earlier about you when you were on your vacation for your 40th birthday. Did you feel like you were really having to sacrifice on your vacation to eat right?
No, not at all. Now that we know how to, everything that was there is what we eat now. We know
about how we ate.
Yeah.
We laid out on the beach. We had people bring us skewers of meats and vegetables. Had an adult beverage every once in a while, and just enjoyed life. And you can do that. That's the point I'm getting at. What I mentioned earlier. It's not about eating cardboard and living a miserable life. I wouldn't have been able to do it, because if people who saw me on The Apprentice know that I enjoy eating, and I'm still completely fulfilled. I feel better. I feel fuller. I feel satisfied, and it's a wonderful, wonderful recipe for success.
Let's talk about investments for a second, because that's been part of your business in the past, in real estate, I guess, and sometimes we're reluctant to make that same kind of investment in our health. And, you know, our program is an investment of time, of energy. It's a commitment, and there's a certain financial commitment that you need to make. I mean, can you put that in perspective for the people that are watching?
I'd love to. We are in a medical financial crisis in this nation. Not because doctors are evil, not because people are, or not because of anyone's evil, but because people don't know how to take care of themselves, because they don't have the tools. The money people will spend on not taking care of themselves, on medical issues, from not taking care of themselves, from not eating right, the net present value of that, and to me everything's dollars and cents, you bring all that back to one number, it's what I have paid to be a part of this plan and what I would pay to continue this plan is a pittance. It's not, it doesn't even register. It is, and what is your livelihood? What is your well-being? What is your sense of well-being? Your mental clarity, your strength as a 40-year-old guy, stronger than I've ever been, sharper than I've ever been. You know, enjoying my wife more than I've ever enjoyed her. What is that worth? Would I rather be spending money to get that? Or would I rather be spending money to have someone stick their thumb in the dike just to hold me back from all these diseases, which I'm eventually going to fall to? Absolutely not. It's a small investment. And I would tell anyone, whatever you have to do, overall, if you look at investments as I do, you're investing in you. What better asset do you have? And if you're investing in you, if you can be like me compared to where I was, don't you think that has increased my longevity, my earning capacity, my ability? So I think it's a net positive, not a net negative.
I couldn't have put that better myself, Clint. And listen, I want to thank you two so much for coming and helping us out today and really sharing your story with all these other potential patients and patients that we have now. And we really appreciate it and can't thank you enough. Thank you so much.
Thank you.